Hello there, algebras, and welcome to your univariate data extra review. So real quick, I am just going to show you how to clear your graphing calculator's memory again before we get started. So I want you to go to second and the plus sign. And so notice this is all the memory stuff, and actually I'll do it here too in a sec, so I'll do both so you can see me touching the buttons on both. Notice we're in the memory the memory part of our graphing calculator, and we want number 7, your reset. Just to clear our lists and all the programs and things like that that are in our graphing calculator, we want to press RAM, so all RAM, so that's 1, and then reset is 2. So that clears your RAM out, and now nothing will be in your graphing calculator list. So that's one way to clear the whole thing out. I'm just going to do that again. Second and the plus sign gets you to memory. 7 is your reset. RAM is what you're on. And then 2 is reset it. So all your RAM is cleared. That just means that if you go to your lists, you have no data in any of your lists had you just used your graphing calculator. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. I gave you 40 students who took an exam in statistics. Oh, apt exam, right? Here are their scores out of 100 possible points. So there are 40 test scores here. We are going to enter those 40 test scores into our graphing calculator, okay? And rather than sitting here and watching me do it, I'm going to pause this and come back and show you how I know I've got them. I'm going to have them in both graphing calculators, so you don't have to watch me do all of that. But what I want you to do is pause the video and enter your data. And let me just get you started before, right? I press stat and enter to get to my list 1. Okay, so that's my list 1. And then press 63, enter, and now it's in my list. Okay, and so that's what I'm going to do. And so, like I said, if I have to do that 40 times, it's probably best that we pause and come back when the lists are full. All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll be right back. Where's my thing? There we go. Okay, we're back. And let me just pull this guy back up and this guy back up. So here's your graphing calculator. And I just want to show you how I know for sure here that I've got the data entered. And you can see it on both graphing calculators currently. So here and here, right? I'm being asked for the 41st data value. So see that? I'm being asked for the 41st data value. But I only had 40 data values. So at least now I know, okay, I have exactly 40 data values, right? So then the next thing I like to do, and I will make this smaller again to do this part so that I can see a little bit better here. There we go, I can see a little bit better. So here's my data, right? 90 is the only data value you can't see. There we go. So I can see my data. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to scroll backwards through my data right now and just make sure that it's correct. So you look 96, right? 99. So you just look and make sure that your data is correct. All right, just a real quick scroll. And the reason I say this is because you don't want to have all the wrong answers when we go through and look at what our 5-number summary and mean and standard deviation are. Okay, so I'm making sure that these are all the same. All right, I'm going kind of slow because I'm also talking at the same time, but I'm just kind of showing you guys how you can check yourselves before you even run a 1-var stat summary. Okay. I got 94. Okay, I got 94. Sorry, I thought I caught one that I didn't get. Well, that 46 seems pretty low on a test, huh? It looks like that's our minimum. So at least we know our minimum. And it also looked like that 99 at the very beginning. That was probably our max, right? Okay, well, then it's looking pretty good. So let's go stat. Let me do it on both graphing calculators. Stat. And then we're going to arrow right to calc. So we're going to do 1-var stats, right? So we put all our stuff in list one. So that's what we have going on here. So I can arrow down and press calculate, or here I can just keep pressing enter until calculate gets hit. And there we go. Oh, the mean is the same. Standard deviation is the same. So there you go. Okay. We'll probably ask for all those things. I just got to look real quick. So let me just arrow down and let's see what the 5-number summary is. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this at the top and I'm going to put this one at the bottom so we can see both ends of this. And all right, so this one's got the 5-number summary and this one over here has the top, right? The mean and the standard deviation. So let's get that stuff on here, right? I know that the mode doesn't actually come out of this, but the minimum was 46. Okay, so Q1 is 72.5. The median we said is 81.5 and 90, and 99 was the max. So now let's see, probably need the other graphing calculator for this side. Oh, mode, we're gonna have to count that ourselves. The other graphing calculator, the X bar, the mean is 80.45. The SX, the standard deviation, is 12.547. Okay, let me just start writing 12.54724405. IQR range mode. Okay, those are things that didn't pop out on my graphing calculator. So let's start with those. Okay, the range is 99 to 46, the maximum minus the minimum. Oops. 99 minus 46 is 53. The IQR is the Q3 minus the Q1, so 90 minus 72.5, and you get 17.5. Good. And you know what I'm going to do while I'm right here? I'm going to take my IQR and I'm going to multiply it by 1.5 because that'll help me find, so it'll give me the value that helps me find any outliers in a minute. So 26.25. Got it. Okay. Probably going to have to see if I have outliers, so I might as well know that value now, right? Now, the mode is the value used most, okay? You know what? Let's do the dot plot first and then find the mode because we'll be able to visually see the mode through our dot plot. Every single point, every single data value has to be a plot, right? So we might as well do that, okay? So let me just remind you how to scale a dot plot. So first I want to know how many hash marks I have on my number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And I know my range is 53. So let's take 53 and divide it by 21 hash marks. And we see that we're going to have to go by 3s or 4s or 5s. So I'm going to go by 3s to try and fit everything. And what I'll do is I'll start down here with 45, right? Because 46 will be right up there. And then you have 48. I'm going by 3s, so 51, 54, 57, 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 78, 81, 84, 87, 90, 93, 96, and 99. We know that the test is out of 100, but 99 was our max. So we don't have to worry about having more than that on our scale. I'm just going to remind you that a dot plot is literally putting a dot over every single data value that's being used. So I'm just going to try and help you out a little bit, but I'm going to pause it again and have you come back to a completed dot plot because that would be real annoying to just sit there and watch me plot every point. And so again, we'll have you pause and you come back when yours is done and compare the two and make sure they're about right. So we're going to have the same scale at least as we go through, right? So let me just show you what to do here. 63 is going to be my first point that I'm plotting, right? So 63, there is a line for, I'm going to put a dot right there over 63, okay? Nice big dot there. 66 is the next one. There's actually a line for 66. Now 78, actually a line for 78. So far we haven't run into one where there's no, here we go, 70. Now, if we think about it, there's 1, 2, and then the 3, right? So here is where 70 would be. All right. So you kind of have to think of it this way. Like 64, well, here's 63, here's 64 right here. There's where 65 would fit. And so that's how you kind of want to do this. So I'll pause it again. So you're going to see me pause it again. You pause it, and then you come back, and I'll do it right up here. So you come back after that, and then let's check and see if our dot plots match up, and we'll be able to see the mode. All right, see you in a sec. All right, there we go. And I think there's a clear winner on the mode, is if we look across, we have a couple that gave us 2. We have a couple that gave us 3 here, but only one with 4. So there is only one mode this time, and it is 79. All right, so that's what should have, become clear as you looked at your dot plot. All right. Well, next, we need to create a box plot. We'll note that this is the same number line that we had from above. So at least we already know how to scale it, and we already figured out how to scale it, which was taking the range, the full range we needed, and dividing by 3 here, right? So we're going to construct a dot plot. Just want to see something before we do. Doesn't specifically ask us to find an outlier, but you know what? I'm worried before I construct a dot plot that I might have an outlier. Because if I look at that, or excuse me, before I construct a box plot, because if I look at my dot plot, this one data value very obviously is so much smaller than all the other ones. So, you know what? Let's just check. Let's just check just to make sure we don't have an outlier, okay? And how we check for an outlier is we take the IQR and we multiply it by 1.5. And we take this value that we get from that and we add it to the Q3 and we subtract it from the Q1. And whatever those numbers are, if we end up with something outside of those numbers, that particular thing is an outlier. So I don't think I'm going to have a high outlier, but let's just double check, right? 90 plus 26.25 is 116.25. Okay, so we're not going to have anything above 116.25, especially because we won't have any values above 100. But now let's do the same with 72.5 and subtract 26.25. Oh boy, we end up with 46.25, and anything lower than that is considered an outlier. We have an outlier. So this is an outlier value. This 46, this is technically an outlier. It doesn't fit with the rest of the data. It's outside of 1.5 times the IQR on each side. So since that's the case, we're going to need a new minimum. We kind of have to throw 46 out as the minimum, and we need to look for a new minimum. All right. So I'm going to show you how you can do that really easily on your graphing calculator, and it'll tell you your new minimum without having to go through 40 data values, right? If you press second and y equals, you get to stat plots, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to get interrupted.
Students at right plus 4,
Do it over here.
right plus 6. Students at right plus 7 plus 15 will right plus 7. Students writing plus 3 will write plus 11. And students writing plus 1 will write 13. Thank you.
Probably want that announcement anyway. It's been on like every day. Okay, so anyway, we're going to turn this plot on. So press enter to turn this plot on, and we're inside the plot, and press enter again. So I'm going to do this over on my graphing calculator. Enter, enter. Now the plot is on because we're highlighting on. And now what you want to do is arrow down to the next line, and we arrow to the right until we get to the box looking thing that has dots on it. So see how that's highlighted? That's what we want. Now you have to press enter because now it has to be officially highlighted. And what you notice is now there's only an X list of L1 on each graphing calculator. I'll leave it blue, okay? But there's only an X list of L1 for these. And so now what I want to press is zoom because that gets my stats.
Aisha Aslam, please come to the main office.
Zoom 9. There you go. Okay. Now notice that this particular type of box plot tells me my outlier. If you press trace, which is right up here, now you get this little spider guy that will tell you each of your low and high and Q1 and Q3. Now, it's still calling this the minimum, but obviously we know it's an outlier. So here's where the minimum when we make our box plot is, and notice it's 59. And notice just on the dot plot, it fits in a little bit better with the rest of the data. So what I'm going to do down here is I'm just going to kind of rehash my 5-number summary out. So this is going to be 46. My Newman is 59. My Q1, 72.5. My median, 81.5. My Q3, 90. And my max, 99. And again, what we'll do real quick is I'll pause it again so we can get our number line all set. So pause it again. We'll get our number line. It's the same scale that we want to use from up here. We'll get it down here, and then I'll help you get the actual values for your box up there. Okay, so we'll pause it. Come on back when you're done. Okay, so again, I got my scale up there going by 3s, and I put a mark over each of my 5-number summary and put an asterisk for my outlier data value. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw lines from my minimum to my Q1 and from my Q3 out to my maximum. Okay, so those are going to be the lines on my box plot. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand my dots for the Q1, the median, and the Q3 just a little bit so that now I can connect those to make the box around the middle 50% of the data. So there you go. Remember, here's the IQR from here to here, and that's the middle 50% of the data. Here's your minimum, new minimum, and your maximum. And of course, an outlier is a data value that is calculated that cannot fit. And again, notice that I found that using the box plot on my graphing calculator, right? And so I'll pull this guy up again. There he is. Okay, so I found that using the box plot on my graphing calculator that had the little dot, dot, dots. So that was kind of easy to find that new minimum and have that outlier present. Okay, this was kind of telling me without my calculation that there is definitely an outlier. Okay, continuing. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm again going to pause it and tally in frequency. And so, again, this is stuff you don't want to be watching me do that, but I'm going to have my data in front of me to do this. For your sake, what I'll do is I'll put my data right here and I'll make my, make this, well, you know what? You pause it here and then I will pause it right afterwards. You pause it here, though, so that you can see the data and get them on your tallies there. And we'll come back and have that done together. Okay? I'm glad I did this before. Okay, so we want to change these intervals. All right, so pause it here. So you're supposed to pause it there. Let's change our intervals. Okay, so our low interval, we want to be going by 5s, right? So we're going to go 90, go 95 to 99 here. If we're going by 5s, 90 to 94. No, that won't fit. Okay, let's go. I'll do it under tally. We'll go 90 to 99, 80 to 89, 70 to 79, 60 to 69, 50 to 59, because there are some that fit in there, and 40 to 49. And then that way we can use that to tally and frequency, right? So we'll just change those up a little bit. These are actual intervals that we'll use because we need intervals that really fit our data. And then we'll go from there. Okay. So now pause it right here so that you can see the data and put them in the right interval. Okay. All right. So let's tally them up. We had 1, we had 2, 5, 10, 10, and 11 for our intervals. Okay, so let's take a peek down here. We obviously are not starting at 0, so we're going to need a break. And then let's go by 2s for our intervals just to make sure, because we've had enough little errors that this, I think, will fit everyone. So 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69. So we fixed our intervals, remember. So make sure you're using these because it fits the data. And those are your intervals. Those are always the bottom. Whew, bless me. All right, now up the side. So up the side, we're going to have our frequencies. So our frequencies, of course, need to be able to fit 11. That's our maximum frequency that we had. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we'll go by ones. That will be the best way to fit everything is scaling by ones. Remember, whatever the scale you start is, that's the scale that goes on. You can't just make up your scale as you go to fit what you want. It has to fit all of the data. And of course, this is the side we write frequencies. Okay, and now don't forget you've got that break in there, and I prefer that lightning bolt Harry Potter scar looking break. And now let's get our data in here. So 49 goes up to 1, 50 to 59 goes up to 2. The next one goes all the way up to 5. So notice what I'm doing is I'm putting little dots in those spots until I can use my straight edge to connect. And now I will use my straight edge to draw my vertical lines. Histograms don't take as long because of your intervals. Now I'll draw my horizontal lines for the tops of the bars. Histograms are touching. Bars are touching. Bars are always the same width. Those two bars were even the same height because they had the same number of frequencies inside their interval. We always label interval here, frequencies here, and then histogram of labels the top, and you want to know what you have, exam scores. Okay. There we go. So what do you think? Is the mean or the median the best measure of center for this data? Why am I going to pick the median? And typically I do pick the median, by the way. But why do I always lean towards that median? Because the mean, the average, the X bar, it gets pulled one direction or the other. And when you have, and just look at this, your X bar is 80.45. That's fine. It's kind of close to the median still, which is 81.5. It's pretty close, but it's being pulled down further by an outlier. And so the mean gets pulled one direction or the other, whereas the median is always your middle data value. Okay, so it being the middle data value, it's typically the best measure of center. But in this case, because there's an outlier, I would for sure pick the median because I don't want the mean to be pulled down further. Okay. Which graph do you think is best given this data? All right, so look at your histogram. This is actually just a personal choice. Your histogram. Okay. Now look at your dot plot and your box plot. I like to lean box plot, but that dot plot is telling me everything, including my mode, right? So it's a visual of everything, including my mode. This is just telling me kind of where people fell, right? I don't know. That's personal preference, I think. I'm leaning dot plot this time. Normally I say box plot. Okay? That's it. That's our extra data review where you did your one var stats, you entered your data, you made a dot plot, you made a box plot, you found an outlier, and you made a histogram and labeled it, right? So, just a quick data review before the review again, where we do that again, and then our test in Delta Math where you'll do it again, right? So hopefully we've got this one var stat thing down by now, but again, you let me know if you need anything as we're moving forward. This has been your Univariate Data Extra Review. Extra Data Review. I like that a little better. Okay, so this has been your Extra Data Review. Just going through, making some plots, talking about some best measures of central tendency, finding some outliers, right? All right, guys. I'll be seeing you. Let me know if you need any help getting ready for that Delta Math test. See you soon. Bye.